is an arrangement whereby governmental powers within a country are shared between a national. The basic rationale for federalism is that a society which has very wide geographical differences can live together at peace only in a federal framework in which the provinces or states are given opportunity to look after their own affairs if they are to feel content with the federal political union and the black race at large. Your Excellencies, please accept our sincere thanks and best wishes. May our gathering find some viable and lasting solutions to problems of nation building facing the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you all.
Nigeria is, as everybody knows, ethnically, religiously, and regionally diverse, but that it doesn't confer any uniqueness to us, because there are several countries around the world who are similarly characterized. And then the second thing I say is that the matter of structure has never been an end in itself. Structure has always been a means to an end. And that structure normally provides the infrastructure around which governance as a process happens, whether it be corporate structure for businesses or it be structure for government. And then I say, number 3, that Nigeria has grappled with enormous ranges of failures over the period of its countryhood. And so I say, number 1, that Nigeria has failed to transit from country to nation. It remains a British-created country, to the utter chagrin of those who would like to see this transition of a country in an organic way into a nation. Nigeria needs a national conversation because everything that is an indicator of the reason for such a conversation are very clear to us. Fragility index, Nigeria is number 14 out of 177 countries. Misery index, Nigeria is number 6. In terms of terrorism index, Nigeria is number 6. In terms of public trust index, Nigeria is a lowly number 152. In terms of income per capita ranking, Nigeria is 135. In terms of many other indicators, human capital, fragility, physical infrastructure, or governance index, Nigeria is at the lower bottoms. It shows that clearly there is something structurally and fundamentally wrong. If you have a structural problem, you don't use a band-aid to deal with it. Structural problems must be solved structurally. Therefore, if someone were to say, what are the key issues of Nigeria, therefore, then the key issue is that all of these failures make it impossible for the Nigerian state to be productive and to be competitive. Because of this impossibility of being competitive and being productive and competitive, the country wallows in abject poverty, with more than 80 million of the citizens living in pernicious poverty. Poverty absolutely has no region, nor any religion. Poverty simply sucks and should not be the legacy that we leave to our people. And so, I then move on to say that for Nigeria, this conversation is absolutely important. For someone from the southeast region of the country, what is the key matter? First of all, from the southeast, there are two expressions that is similar to what the elite have done frequently in this country. We must have a conversation that understands that it is not by mistake that whereas a country like Singapore, with which we started off the development bloc, is today at almost 60,000 income per capita, while we struggle with $2,149 per capita. It is not by mistake. It is by deliberate and intentional design. And that deliberate and intentional design therefore means that it is important for citizens to be at the center of this conversation. And when I say citizens, I do not mean you and I at this event, because it would amount to a monopolistic sense of appropriating powers for us to assume that we represent the voice of the people. And so it is absolutely necessary that we design a pathway where we first identify some credible Nigerians who then go back to the communities in order that communities will send representatives that they have decided on their own as representatives that will design the pathway for a national conversation. This national conversation cannot be an urban conversation. It must come from the bottom. And that is why communities must determine who will represent them. And when this set of people gather to design the pathway that they design will be a pathway toward a referendum that will discuss how the process of a conversation should take place. I am a process-driven person with a mindset that process must lead to an outcome that would lead to an inclusion-based system that would solve the problem that each of us would bring to the table without any holds barred. Thank you very much.
Everybody in this country is suffering from the present status quo. But the very few that enjoys the status quo do not want restructuring. And if we keep quiet, Nigeria will be no more very, very soon. We, the people of Niger Delta, have suffered most under this project called Nigeria. Today, we people from Niger Delta, the South, we are the breadwinner of Nigeria. Nobody can dispute that. But we do not control our resources. One can say that yes, Nigeria says they control all the resources in this country, but it is not so. The gold you have today in Zamfara is more than the gold deposit you have in South Africa. But the gold in Zamfara, it's not controlled by Nigeria as a government. The crude oil, the gas we have in Niger Delta is controlled by the federal government. Today, the children we have in Niger Delta, my children do not know the color of the crude oil because it is a no-go area. Our people don't even work in the oil establishment. Today, all the director of human resources in NNPC and all the oil parastatals in NNPC, they are from other parts of the country. We do not know where people are recruited. So, do we actually belong to this country? We belong to a country where we are treated like second-class citizens. That is very, very unacceptable. So, what we people of Niger Delta want is pure restructuring, true federalism, where we control our resources and pay tax to the center. Other regions have enjoyed this before. When groundnut, when cocoa, when palm oil were the basic economic activities in Nigeria, from the 1963 Constitution, they retain 50% of what they produce to the state and pay 50% to the center. Even from the 50% they pay to the center, the federal government retains 20%, and the remaining 30% is shared between the federating unit and even the federal government. And that was when the oil was not in control of the Nigerian economy. But today, the oil is in charge of the Nigerian economy. We, the people of Niger Delta, are being given only 13%. And even the 13% It is not actually 30% of production. It is 30% of budget, because the excess crude account does not apply by that 30%. So we have suffered most in Nigeria. We are not saying that we should have everything that belongs to us, but we, the people of Niger Delta, believe in restructuring a true federalism. True federalism where we produce and pay tax to the center. Nigeria is a failed state. Failed state in the sense that nothing works anymore. Bring the best expert to come and manage Nigeria under the 1999 Constitution. It will also get no result, because the 1999 Constitution is a scam, a very complete scam. The last constitution we have in this country was the 1963 Constitution. The 1999 Constitution was dictated by the military and handed down to Nigeria. And that is why nothing works. Those people who run, some of the people who run Nigeria today, they were the beneficiary of the 1963 Constitution. They were the beneficiary of true federalism, where people produce and pay to the center. And the few universities we have in Nigeria as at that time, we are working effectively. Today, there is no sector in Nigeria you can actually say that is working very well. Pick the education, for instance. The education sector has failed woefully. I have a daughter who gained admission into the university 2 years ago. Today is in 200 level in the private university. But her mates who gained admission at that same time into the federal university, they have not written exam for the first semester exam of 100 level. That tells you that Nigeria is going towards the drain. Look at the infrastructure. Can we actually travel through the federal road? In those days, I used to drive from Warri to University of Nigeria in 2 hours. But today, it will take you about 8 hours to drive from Warri through the Onitsha-Enugu road. In this country, that tells you nothing works. Look at the huge budget we make every year we put into the road infrastructure. You cannot travel from Lagos to Benin to Calabar. The East-West Road, which is the most viable road in the south-south Nigeria, in fact, it is a danger zone. So nothing works in this country. Nothing works because this country needs restructuring. Look at the insecurity. I believe today, so many people have died in this country as a result of banditry. The Nigerian government is biting more than they can chew. You cannot control everything in this country. It becomes so worse to the extent that even Nigerian government wants to control the water and the river I have in my backyard. That is extremely very poor. The federal government should restrict itself to national issues, such as international diplomacy, such as protection of the Nigeria territory, the army, and leave other things to the federal unit. So, conclusively, we want to say that we, the people of Niger Delta, we believe in restructuring. We believe in Nigeria project, but with federative unit, where the federative unit will produce and pay tax to the center. That is what we want. Anything other than true federalism, Nigeria will collapse. Thank you and God bless you.
There is a problem of how to share power. So power sharing is an issue. Wealth sharing is an issue. That's the last point my fellow citizen from the Niger Delta raised. But there are formulas, and you can sit around the table to discuss how to share power. You can sit around the table to discuss how to share wealth. I don't see that as a very big problem. And if we sit in this room, I'm sure we will not fail to agree, I, for one, would want to give the whole of the oil for the Niger Delta, give it to Niger Delta. Let them even decide how much money they want to pay as royalty. I have no problem with that. So these are easy things. The more difficult one to do is the issue of identity, the issue of ethnicity, the issue of religion. It's not something you can sit down on the table and design a formula to share. Now, that is what federalism is supposed to solve. And this is why we need to focus on federalism. And there is nothing for me as true or false federalism, even though we use the terms very loosely. Federalism is what you make for yourself. There is no one, there are no two federal structures in the world that are the same. We have failed as elite to arrive at a consensus. There is no elite consensus as to where we want this country to go. In fact, in the elite conversation, I don't find the issues that are really important. How do we grow the economy? We are going to be, in the next 10 years, we are going to be something in the region of 300 million. In the next 30 years, that's 2050, Nigeria is projected to be in the region of 450 million, will be the third most populous country after China and India. What are we going to do? How do we create the jobs? How do we feed this population? How do we deal with this pandemic, if you like? This is the kind of conversation. We should be able to have a consensus as to where we want this country to be. The elites in the north are pulling in the north direction. The elites in the south are pulling in the southern direction. Everybody is pulling in its own direction. How do we expect this country to make any progress anywhere, in any direction? So we need as elite to have a consensus. And that is missing. And that's what is delaying the resolution of many of the problems of this country. We have got fora, different fora now that are available, trying to get consensus. If we can consolidate this fora and we can create our own conference. I don't think we should wait for our government to convene a national conference. We have the freedom within ourselves to sit down and come to a national conference and put what we want on the table of the politicians. If you don't do this, we don't elect you. Simple. Why should we wait for anybody to convene a national conference? Whenever they do so, they have their own agenda, right? Let's have our own agenda. We want this country to overcome these obstacles. This is a country with great potential. We have the largest, the fastest growing population in the world. South Korea, the population is going down. Japan, France, Europe, everywhere. We have what it takes to determine the next 50 years. The second issue that I think we need to resolve, we have to make our conversations to be driven by knowledge. At the moment, our conversations are driven by emotions. We don't have facts. And there are so many ways. You hear Ellie talking about we want a Hausa presidency or a Northern presidency or an Igbo presidency. I mean, I find that really ridiculous. It's like going to the airport, you go back to Lagos, and then asking, who is the pilot? Is he Igbo? Is it Hausa? Is it Yoruba? How does that help you? You want a pilot who has a license. We can fly. You want competence. So what is your problem? I wouldn't ask for a Northern presidency. That's stupid. I don't listen to people who want an Igbo presidency. That's stupid. I want a competent Nigerian president who can grow the economy, who can resolve the issue of insecurity, who can bring the kind of thing that will make this country stable and make it greater. I don't mind where he comes from. I want his competence. So we want to drive this in. The moderator referred to my statement about the issue of oil. I did say there is no oil producing state in this country. The only oil producing state is the Nigerian state itself. This is in the Constitution. I didn't say it. I just read the Constitution. And therefore, we should stop talking out of ignorance. We should not allow ignorance to derive the debate. We should go back to knowledge. Finally, I think, and this is in fact for me most important, we have to address the issue of our politics. Our politics is our problem. We have an empty politics. Our political parties have no content, they have no conscience, they have no courage. Look at the problems of this country. The ruling party has no idea. It does not even engage citizens on solutions on insecurity, solutions in the economy, solutions of all the problems we are facing. They can't even discuss it. The opposition party cannot. No political party is coming forward with any solution. And these parties are filled with some of the worst characters in this country. And we're sitting down here and keeping quiet. The leadership recruitment mechanism in this party is faulty. It's not based on competence. It's not based on anything other than just money and corruption. How can we allow a bunch of criminals to be leading this country? For goodness sake, thank you.
Take from the last point that Dr. Bugaji made concerning ethnicity and religion. Truly, there are a lot of challenges. Though we are not coming to itemize the challenges, we are interested in solution. That is why I did come with the different statistics that we have to show that there are a lot of challenges. Maybe you see, when we talk about people, our land and our heritage, that those are the things we hold very dear to ourselves. If we hold all this dear to ourselves and it's being tampered with, let's take for example what is happening in Biliri now, where you talked about ethnicity, religion, and the rest. It's a problem in Kaduna State. If you also stretch it to Kano, recently the president of NBA, his wife happened to be from my state. She had been married to him for 80s and they have children. But she was denied being the chief judge of Kano State because so many reasons that we shouldn't accept. The same thing happened in Gombe State. And the same thing is happening within the traditional structure. Anything that touches on your tradition, your religion, your culture is sensitive. It's all like you see a Yoruba man, you tell him that, please, I don't like you to wear this kind of cap. I don't want you to wear your kind of this thing. Wear it and push it this way. There will be problem because we have that affinity to our way of life, our food. One of my young daughters was talking and I said, about Akara. I said, Akara smells. I said, don't go there, it can cause war in Nigeria. Akara doesn't smell. So as little as that can spark out challenges. So let me go back to the constitutionality. Honestly, if you do a scan, we'll talk about the environmental scan, political scan, economic scan. The land of, take for example, Benue. I come from Benue. The species of oranges we have, the fruits are not organic one. You can't find it anywhere in the world. This is the truth. Is it the legumes, the tubers, or there is this yam we have? It is called bamboo, the tube area. It's like sugar has been infused into it. You can't find it anywhere. So why don't we sit back and see the complementarity? I agree with what my sister Dr. Obi said. If we say the elite have failed, including myself in a way, I cannot abdicate myself completely. So why don't we go for the organic people, the natural people? Aisha Ismail, former minister of myself, they are the organic people, the real people. Why don't we go and harvest them? Baba too had attested to that. Why don't we go and harvest these people who will not be looking for any kind of patronage, who will bring organic ideas, who will bring lasting solutions to our country? If you talk about the share of the economy, the share of position in the military or everywhere, you see that the middle belt people particularly, I say particularly, they are the most disadvantaged. If you look at a place like, I remember it at a time, a retired general was nominated from KB and he was said not to have affiliation to any political party. For God's sake, these things are too blatant and they are too glaring. We shouldn't accept it. But I'm happy that the document here has said we should try our best to be as civil as possible, to be as peaceful as possible. That's what I said. How can we quickly raise more courageous people, people who are patriotic, people who are knowledge-driven in engagement they have, and people who truly love Nigeria? How do we bring in women? You see the conversation of women, it doesn't spark any kind of, it doesn't raise any emotion. the two of us that are here. And if we had more women, it will be better for us. If we had you today, the tension might rise. But if we treat everybody with a sense of belonging and respect, I believe we will not be where we are today. Thank you very much.